From laughingstock to lethal. No, we're not talking about a Hollywood plot twist. Over the last few years, Greece has quietly morphed from an austerity-hit country with aging Cold War kit into a full-blown military powerhouse. As Prime Minister Mitsotakis proudly declared in 2023, Greece is undergoing the most drastic transformation in the history of the country's armed forces. Forget the stereotype of rusty tanks and grounded jets. A new, aggressive Athens has emerged, rewriting regional equations and boasting arguably the continent's most formidable arsenal. Greece's critics never thought this day would come. During the debt crisis era, Athens slashed defense spending to near bare bones. By 2014, the budget was down to about $4.6 billion, roughly half of what it was a decade earlier. Corroded ships and outdated aircraft dotted the fleet, and for years, news commentators described the Greek military as overstretched and underfunded. Meanwhile, Turkey's forces quietly grew, but those days are gone. Greece now spends roughly 3% of GDP on defense, far above the EU average, and pours cash into modernization. In fact, last year, Athens announced a 25 to 28 billion euro multi-year rearmament plan for 2025 to 37. Today's Hellenic Army and Air Force are being rebuilt faster than ever, going from paper-thin to paper tiger status with dizzying speed. The trigger was a perfect storm of threats. Historic tensions with Turkey over airspace and islands have flared repeatedly, turning the Aegean into a powder keg. New gas discoveries have raised the stakes in the Eastern Mediterranean, drawing in rivals from Libya to Russia. And Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 highlighted Greece's geostrategic flank. Athens suddenly saw itself in a front-row seat to war on NATO's periphery. With thousands of migrants flowing through due to Middle East and African conflicts, Greek leaders realized the status quo wouldn't hold. In short, war in Ukraine and unrest on its doorstep convinced Athens that its toolbox was empty and dangerous. High-level sources say Agenda 2030 reforms were launched in response to current armed conflicts and rapid tech advances, tearing down the old sclerotic force structure. The result? A military reboot aimed at making Greece the strongest in our country's history. The numbers tell the tale. Greece's defense budget has jumped from punitive levels to double-digit billions in just a few years. By 2025, annual spending was projected to hit around 6.1 billion euros, and NATO figures show Greece topping all member states, aside from the US. With 3.88% of GDP in 2022, this cash is being spent on cutting-edge platforms everywhere. The Hellenic Air Force ordered 24 French Rafale fighters, 18 in 2019 plus 6 more in 2020, at roughly $2.5 billion. All 24 Rafales were delivered by early 2025 and pack Meteor and Scalp missiles that Turkey doesn't have. Athens is now joining the US F-35 program. In July 2024, it signed a letter of acceptance to buy 20 F-35A jets, 8.6 billion euros US FMS package for delivery from 2028. Greece also upgraded its legacy fleet. 85 F-16CD fighters are being modernized to the Viper configuration. Plus, it just ordered 6 C-130J transports from Italy and 2 more old C-130s from the US after crises exposed shortages. The Hellenic Navy is bulking up too. Athens bought 3 French FDI/Belharra frigates for 2.26 billion euros and is negotiating a 4th. These ships carry Aster 30 long-range SAMs, Exocet anti-ship missiles, torpedoes, and even 1,000-plus kilometers Scalp naval cruise missiles. Greece also plans to acquire 2 second-hand Italian FREM frigates for under 600 million euros, and it joined the U.S. Constellation-class frigate program for co-production. On submarines, Athens is investing heavily. Existing Type 214 boats are being upgraded with new sonar, countermeasures, and torpedoes, and a program is underway to build at least 4 new submarines, replacing half-century-old hulls. From designs like Germany's Type 218 or Sweden's A26, the Navy also ordered 8 Camcopter S-100 helicopters UAVs to fly off the new frigates. The Army bought 35 UH-60M Black Hawks US FMS $1.95 billion contract to modernize transport and medevac helicopters. It's also contracted 76 AAVP-7 amphibious assault vehicles to bolster Marine units. A major deal in 2023, Greece agreed to buy Rafale's Spike-guided missiles, NLOS and ER-2, in an approximately 370 million euro contract. This equates to roughly 100 Spike NLOS missiles for Apache helicopters, 17 anti-tank launchers, 340 missiles for Army units, and dozens more for patrol boats, giving land forces a lethal new punch. For context, Greece once relied on obsolete Soviet AA guns. Now its troops tote precision missiles. In 2022, Greece moved to fill a gap by approving 3 MQ-9B Sea Guardian UAVs, 40-hour endurance, for approximately $400 million, enhancing maritime surveillance. It's also developing domestic drone tech, e.g. the Architas program, and testing one-way loitering munitions from Elbit. Greek defense firms are racing to catch up, building electronic warfare systems like anti-drone shields for the islands. Perhaps the most ambitious project is the Achilles Shield Tholos program, a €2.8 billion multi-layer network of radars, SAMs, and interceptors. Unveiled in April 2025, it aims to cover drones, cruise missiles, aircraft, and even submarines by 2027. Plans call for Israeli Barak MX batteries to replace old S-300 systems. Those are actually being handed off to Armenia. And options like France's SAMP-T, Germany's IRIS-T, and Norway's NASAMS are on the table. In short, Athens is building a Greek Iron Dome of its own. "We already have Patriot," Mitsotakis said, "but new Patriots would take years, whereas Israeli solutions can deploy quickly." As a result, Greece is expected to install a fleet of Barak MX launchers soon. Strategic partnerships have been critical to this overhaul. Greece is balancing Washington and Brussels to maximize access. With France, it has a de facto joint brigade. Aside from buying Rafales and Belharra ships, Greek forces train regularly with the French, and French defense firms are building Greek corvettes. The U.S. relationship is stronger than ever. Beyond F-35s and Black Hawks, Greece hosts U.S. Marines on Crete and works with the U.S. Navy on Black Sea deployments. Plus, the U.S. funded Greek pilots training on Italian M346 jets. And military ties with Israel have blossomed. Athens now co-owns advanced training centers with Elbit, and Israeli firms showcase their gear at the 2025 DFIO Expo. Rafale's missile contract and Elbit's UAVs underscore a burgeoning Israel-Greece strategic partnership, driven partly by shared concern over Turkey. As one expert put it, the Turkish threat seems to solidify the shared interests. Domestically, reforms have flipped doctrine upside down. The old Greek army was famously top-heavy and static, with far too many generals doing desk work. That is changing. Defense sources say Athens has cut senior ranks and merged commands to create a leaner, more agile force. The new focus is on rapid deployment, special operations, and joint arms. Everything from amphibious assault drills to air-land strike packages. Training now emphasizes combined NATO exercises. The recent Iniakos 2025 war game saw dozens of allied squadrons practicing air defense over Greece's islands. Riley, the defense chief, notes that Greece once had more bases and generals than the US, a burdensome legacy now being fixed. In tandem, the government has bolstered troop morale. Cadets' pay was nearly quadrupled and career pathways modernized to keep fresh recruits and talent flowing into the Army and Navy. In short, Greece is reshaping its entire military culture around 21st century threats, not Cold War habits. All this muscle is shifting the power balance in the Aegean. Where Turkey long had the edge in numbers, Greece now claims a qualitative superiority. Greek missiles outrange Turkish fighters, and Greek jets carry weapons, Meteor, Scalpi, Turkey simply can't field. The 1970s-era arms 710 rule, which once capped Greek kit relative to Turkey's, has been abandoned in favor of a Greek high-tech edge. Even NATO planners have noted Athens' spending levels. Only Norway, Poland, and a few others outspend Greece by GDP percentage. With new subs, missiles, and ships, Greece aims to contest Turkey's Mavi Vatan Blue Homeland strategy. In the January 2025 NATO exercise, for example, Ankara deployed 77 ships, 7 subs, and dozens of UAVs. Greece intends to meet that fleet with its own beefed-up navy. What does it all add up to? For Europe's defense posture, a lot. A resurgent Greece can no longer be written off. It's anchoring the eastern flank of NATO. Its new air defenses will protect not just Athens, but NATO installations in the region. Its armed forces are increasingly interoperable with American, French, and Israeli units. Witness regular drills from Crete to Libya. In a crisis, NATO would have dozens of modern Greek warships, jets, and tens of thousands of well-trained soldiers ready to deploy to hotspots. As one Israeli analyst quipped, Greece's $27 billion plan represents a real opportunity, not just for exporters, but for deterrence in the Mediterranean. The next few years will test this transformation. Greece plans more F-35s, at least one more frigate, and probably new missile systems in coming budgets. It is even reforming its manpower laws and voluntary conscription to field larger forces. If it succeeds, the sleepy land of Spartans may soon be remembered for a new myth, the tiny debt-racked country that dared to stand up to giants. Europe's new military powerhouse? In sum, today's Greece is far from the defenseless basket case of the past. It's a re-energized NATO ally, flexing serious muscle. As one defense commentator noted, Greece is obliged to balance between the US and Europe in defense, because both sides now need Greece's help in a strategic zone. Whether it's deterring Turkey or buffering Russia's ambitions, Athens is stepping into a role few expected. The Spartan spirit is alive, and it's armed to the teeth.